Hi, this is Billy Tarasio from Modern Law Practice, and today I want to talk about the Clio conference wrap up. So I just spent the last lots of days in San Diego, which is my absolute favorite city, and it was hard to come home, doing my sixth Clio conference. And I brought my whole team. There were 10 of us from Modern Law. Um, at the conference, and I've done that the past, I think, 3 years. I've brought my whole team, and I've been going, like I said, for 6 years. And this year was interesting, and I started doing wrap ups of conferences when I went to the Maximum Lawyer Conference this a few months ago. But this conference was very interesting because for a lot of us who have been going for many years, this might be a little sacrilegious, but the Clio conference has been unable to continue to meet expectations, which is completely unfair for those of us who continue to go year after year because there's only so much you can learn. Technology doesn't change every single year and completely disrupt the industry. And many people are going to these conferences looking for a silver bullet that will change their practices, that will make life easier, that will fix everything for them. And we look to technology to do that, and we've got this legal conference. And the legal trends report was especially interesting this year because here were the main takeaways. So every year for the last 3 years, Clio, the software, has been taking our data and trying to study it as an industry to say, hey, lawyers, we know you're struggling, and here's the magic bullet that'll make you better. Here's the revelation that we can take away from all of this data. And so what we've heard in the past is that lawyers aren't billing enough hours in their day. In fact, they're billing teensy amounts of hours. And we've learned about what the average billable hour is this year across cities, across states. And this year, the big takeaways were Clio took it upon themselves to commission a survey to test the responsiveness of lawyers to intake, because lawyers again and again have said, I need more work. And Clio as an industry is looking at the amount of people who want work and the amount of lawyers who say they want work, and they're saying, well, why aren't these people connecting? And so they commissioned a study, and they called 1,000 law firms, or maybe it was they emailed 1,000 law firms and they called 500 of them. And the responsiveness of law firms was woefully poor, which is not something that surprises me because I have been talking about intake for a long time. And yes, software is important, but software can't do what you as a law firm need to do. You as a law firm must respond. And it's not that you don't want to respond, it's that you're busy. You're talking to clients, you're coaching your employees, you are doing the work that you have in front of you, and you don't have time to be available all the time for someone to answer the phone or get back to an email and to do it thoroughly and have a customer service team and a sales team. And that's what your intake team is. Now, most of us can't afford that, but I will tell you this. When Modern Law hit about $1 million in revenue, we hired 2 full-time intake people because I didn't want to miss a call. I knew at that point I had done the math, and I knew how much a missing client cost me, and it was worth it for me to staff 2 full-time intake people rather than not have good intakes team. And these people did only intake. And even that doesn't compare to what I've got now. And what we've got now is a partnership with UpLevel Global, which is an outsourced employment center in Canada. And Modern Law Practice and UpLevel Global have worked together to design an intake team. So I've got 6 people, sometimes it's more because they're constantly scaling, who are available to answer my phone. And they don't just answer my phone like a receptionist would. They are scheduling within my systems. They're collecting payment. They know everything about my attorneys. They are my outsourced sales team. And this change that we made a year and a half ago has made us more money than any other change. And that is completely consistent with the information in the legal trends report and in Clio's commission survey about intake. So I've been saying this for a long time, but I want to reiterate. If you do not have a dedicated intake team, you are bleeding money. You are bleeding money, like pouring the pasta down the sink with no ladle. You need to get a funnel. You need to get great people answering your phones and answering your emails, and it's worth investing in. So the second takeaway, which is huge, is that Clio did a really cool comparison of what is the difference between the law firms that grow 20% year over year. The law firms that are stagnant, that do not grow, and the law firms that shrink, that decline in revenue. And the difference was not the number of lawyers, was not the number of clients, was not the hourly rate that you were charging. The difference in the firms that grow and the firms that do not is the firms that grow are more efficient. They're more productive. This comes down to basic business operations. So no, you cannot go to the Clio conference and get flashy new news that's going to tell you how to fix your firm with a magic wand, because what we have to do, business owners, is start acting like business owners in a disciplined manner where we are all working as a team towards the same goal, where we are productive, where we are efficient, where we're doing the hard work of responding to our clients and communicating clearly and often, where we become a client-centered law firm that cares about what our clients want and then tailor our legal services to what they need. This isn't particularly sexy, although I will tell you the results are, because Modern Law is one of those firms that has grown 20% year over year over year, and we're on the path to continue to do that. But I'll tell you one more interesting thing that's happened to Modern Law over the last few months. Our intake rocks. We know how to onboard clients. We have no shortage of clients, and we're pretty darn productive. But the thing that we have been struggling with lately is continuity and oversight, because we're pretty big now. We have quite a few people now. And so to get everyone practicing law in the same way and everyone knowing what everybody else is doing as far as who's responded to what, how are we tasking, we'd gotten pretty disparate in our systems. So we are using, for a long time, we used Infusionsoft. Then we switched over to ActiveCampaign. And Infusionsoft was our intake engine. And then we moved to Acuity, and Acuity pulls into our KPI database, which shows us all of our KPIs, which is amazing. And then we've got Trello, and then we've got Clio, and then we've got Box, and then I could keep going. We're texting and lots and lots and lots of systems. And what we decided was, in order to be most effective in our next growth phase, in order to become more productive, we're going to have to start working in one system. And we're going to go all in Clio. We're going to use Clio Grow. We're going to use it for project management. We're going to use their document automation software. We had moved to Documate. We're going to use Clio. Why? Because Clio Grow can allow us to send out our questionnaires, to collect data from clients, to automate within Clio's document automation system, and then directly create documents in Box. We're also going all in on the client portal. We have been hesitant. We've been on the fence because we don't want to force people to use another thing. Well, guess what? In order to cover ourselves as a firm and be most client-centered, we have decided as a firm, based on everything that we've looked at, that we want our clients to have all the information real time, and the best way to use that and to see what's happened so that clients or so that lawyers can cover for one another and really be on the same page and on the same team, is to use that portal, is to go all in on Clio tasking, on their reports, on their calendaring, on their documents, on their questionnaires, on their automation. So that's going to be our big project at Modern Law over the next year. And the other thing I want to tell you is this. So I brought 10 people to Clio. Many of the things that we heard were not earth-shattering for us because we're a pretty progressive law firm. We pay attention to what's going on. All of the things that Clio's talking about, we're all in on. So best practices of business and data tracking and client-centered, it's all things that we are extremely committed to. But while nobody got anything that was earth-shattering or groundbreaking, we did have probably one of the best meetings we've ever had, where we all sat through this conference and then we met for 2 hours and we talked about what the takeaways are. And it was clear to everyone, okay, we're great at this, and this, but what we're not great at, we can be more disciplined. And we're a disciplined organization, but we're buying another law firm and we're adding new attorneys. And if we're going to scale, we have to be even more disciplined, even more in the same software and on the same page. So if you went to Clio and you did not discover your shiny silver bullet, it's okay, because the silver bullet is there. We as an industry, from where I went to my first Clio conference 6 years ago and where we are now, we as an industry have come a long way. When I first went to my first Clio conference, we as an industry were very segregated. There was less, we really didn't know what we were doing. Everyone was working in their own little silos, and that's not true anymore. Now people are communicating best practices. And the other really exciting things that I heard from lawyers who are doing amazing things is that there is an opportunity for lawyers to be making money doing things that are complementary to legal. I went to Erin Levine's talk, and she talked about Hello Divorce, which is a legal doc uh, prep company that gives paralegal assisted divorce, LDAs is what they call them in California, and a online platform to help people get divorced. So serving those people who don't want traditional legal services is absolutely a market that is alive and well and growing. I'm finding success with it. Erin's finding success with it. The more people that do it, the bigger that market grows. And number two, I talked to a lawyer who is making a lot of money and finding a lot of success selling coursework. She's packaged her knowledge and she's gotten in on this billion-dollar industry that is online courses. So those are two things that I have seen that are complementary to the practice of law. And we're not talking about pricing. We're not talking about packaging it as a subscription or doing a flat fee model. We're talking about creating a different product with the knowledge in our heads. There is opportunity for that. But do not let those shiny objects distract you from the business of law and the hard work that is law. So I hope that you enjoyed the conference as much as I did, and I would love to hear your feedback, your thoughts. Subscribe to our channel, and we'll talk to you soon.